Thank you, Chairman. I hoped I might learn something this afternoon, but actually I'm a lot more confused. For example, the two Peters may share a name, but they both seem to have completely opposite views on regulation. Peter Maske wants more regulation, and Peter Bross wants more regulation, and Peter Maske wants less red tape. So maybe you could get your heads together on that. I was puzzled as to why Peter Bross wanted more wholesalers involved in the honey market. I would have thought it was desirable that 65% does go direct from beekeeper to consumer, with nobody else taking a profit along the way. Perhaps he could just say why he wants the figure to wholesalers increased. Peter Maske saying that 20% of bees were lost in the winter in parts of Germany. I assume it was because it was too cold. Yet, at the same time, we hear that one of the big problems for bees is climate change. I understand, having been here for 8 years, that climate change means it's getting too warm. So we've got a problem there. Again, Peter Maske said, well, plant protection products are a problem. Well, why not use more GM crops in Europe so there's less plant protection products used? That goes on to glyphosate, because Peter Maske said there's too much glyphosate. Well, we don't use glyphosate on growing crops in Europe. That's the one, we don't use it. So how can glyphosate be a problem to bees? Imports. This puzzled me as well, because apparently there's a big market penetration, yet they're coming from the US, where the agriculture is very intensive and lots of GM, and they're coming from China as well. So what is the European beekeeper doing wrong? There must be something going wrong in Europe. And finally, I ask, well, maybe different breeds of bees are required in Europe. Thank you.
Glyphosate is used in Germany in the spring, was perhaps not very significant, but it is used to spray secondary crops, and we're very much in favor of banning that. It's true it's not allowed, you can't actually use it in the fields, but we would like it not to be used at all, because we do have a loss of food for the bees. And that's why we're in favor of a total ban on glyphosates. Field beans and peas, yes. Protein crops are an alternative, but they don't offer a lot of nectar, a bit of pollen. It would be even better to have wild flax, and it would be useful to have interim crops which would actually give both nectar and pollen. Godsivia, which doesn't need any pesticide as of the second year, and therefore it can actually be recognized as an environmental focus area. We can't force, and we shouldn't force, farmers to grow anything specific. It should be something which is worthwhile growing. Now, why has there been a drop in beekeeping in Germany? Well, quite simply because most don't want to earn. Most people just want to have a couple of hives on the balcony. And these people go around, these bees pollinate the few cherry trees, apple trees in the area. A lot of people don't care enough for the bees. I think it's responsible if you have anything as of 10 hives. I myself have 15. I like it. And I'm not interested of any interest to the tax authorities. €5 for a jar of honey is fine. If you think of it in Deutschmark, it's 100% more than it was then. But you can't live off that. It would have to be more if the beekeeper was to be professional.